Welcome back to the Fanboy Cantina. In this video we are sharing some thoughts and reactions to the new trailer for Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. This is the first time we're seeing actual footage from the film. There's actually two videos to check out. One is the trailer and one is a behind the scenes video. The PR has really ramped up over the past week. Last week, Entertainment Weekly ran this article along with some behind the scenes pictures and stills from the film. Here we can see Henry Golding on the set. Henry Golding is playing Snake Eyes, the title character, and here he is wielding the Morning Light sword. We have Andrew Koji as Storm Shadow, Haruka Abe as Akiko, Samara Weaving as Scarlet, and Ursula Corbero as the Baroness. The article is really interesting because it provides some insight about the long journey to producing this movie. The last G.I. Joe movie, G.I. Joe Retaliation, came out in 2013. It's got some insights on the thinking of the director in approaching this film, and it provides some insight about how this is really about the relationship between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I'd also point you to a couple of articles at Nerds of Color where they've got some thoughts about the Snake Eyes film, as well as this Q&A with Henry Golding. Now, as a G.I. Joe fan, I'm very much looking forward to this movie. But that said, I've got low to moderate expectations because I saw the previous two G.I. Joe movies. So let's dive into the trailer. I had an overall positive impression of the trailer. I think it's strong enough to give us a sense of the vibe of the film. I think the action and the pacing look pretty good, at least. The chase sequence and the sword fight on cars were kind of my least favorite part of the trailer, but I do like that Snake Eyes is wielding an Uzi submachine gun, just as Snake Eyes is supposed to. I'm also really liking the sets used in the film. Japan looks fantastic. The traditional settings look wonderful. The urban settings with the neon lights behind them look fantastic too. The rest of the action in the trailer looks pretty good, and in the Entertainment Weekly article, the director said that there's one green screen set that was used. The rest of it was practical, and so that gives me that much more hope for the quality of this film. Now, as an origin story, it is diverging from the events that happen in the comic books, but at least in this film, I'm interested in what causes Snake Eyes to lose his voice and why does he put on the mask. In this movie, Snake Eyes is not wearing the mask for all of the scenes that we've seen. He's talking, so I'm interested to see what happens in this film. There are some parts that worry me a little bit, like this sword fight happening on the cars, but overall I think it's a really strong trailer, and I'm excited to check out the film when it comes out. Now, what gets me even more excited is the behind-the-scenes video that was released at the same time as the trailer. This video has the actors and the filmmakers talking about the process for bringing Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins to life. But the part that got me most excited was seeing Larry Hama here on the set of the film. Larry Hama is so much of the heart and substance of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. He wrote many of the file cards, if you remember, on the back of the action figures. He also wrote some of the best comic book stories for G.I. Joe, among them, which they recognize in the video, issue 21, which is the silent interlude issue that introduces this relationship between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and it's one of my favorite comic books ever. I'm very interested in Andrew Koji playing Storm Shadow in the film. He is fantastic. If you have not seen The Warrior yet, the TV series, he is fantastic in it. He is a wonderful martial artist, great actor. I'm very excited to see him in that role. In the video, they also talk about the importance of filming in Japan, and that really comes to life in the shots. Japan looks fantastic. We've already talked about the sets. It looks like a beautiful film. So for me, the behind the scenes video actually got me that much more excited about Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins, and I'm more optimistic that it's going to be a good movie. Now, that said, I know that there are a number of people who are concerned about the movie and are not comfortable with the changes to Snake Eyes and his origin story. I myself read the heck out of G.I. Joe 21, 26, and 27. 26 and 27 really covering the origin story for Snake Eyes. Not everybody's comfortable with changing the character to being Asian, but for me, just tell me a good G.I. Joe story. Because if they stayed true to the comics, Snake Eyes would be in his 70s or 80s. Snake Eyes served in Vietnam along with Tommy Arashikage and Lonzo Wilkinson, who is Stalker, according to the comics. So they had to make changes to that origin story. And let's recognize all the changes that were made in the previous two movies. So Baroness and Cobra Commander are brother and sister, and the Baroness was almost engaged to Duke, and we've got Duke and Ripcord running through Paris in these Iron Man outfits. And the explanation for the Vipers is kind of similar to creating the super soldiers in Street Fighter the movie, or for that matter the ninjas in American Ninja 2. Oh man. And then with G.I. Joe Retaliation, so that was a better movie, right? But you know, all the Joes are pretty much wiped out except for like 4 Joes. You know, it was cool to bring in General Joe Colton, though I preferred how he was handled in issue 86 of the G.I. Joe comic books, where he was with G.I. Jane at the top of the Chrysler building. And then there's this kind of stuff with the missile attack, motorcycle thing. G.I. Joe seems to have an obsession with motorcycles. So based on the previous 2 G.I. Joe movies, I am more than ready for a change. Tell me a good G.I. Joe story. And don't get me started about the Transformers franchise. You know, the movies are so different from the cartoons and comics that I grew up with, but you know, they're mostly entertaining, but that franchise is due for a reboot. So post in the comments, what do you think? What do you think of the trailer for Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins? Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins hits theaters on July 23rd of 2021. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. This has been the Fanboy Cantina.